think the biggest thing I want to start with is the quarterback position. We've said for a while now, Georgia's trying to find that second quarterback, and they keep going down the line. I thought that at one point it was maybe going to be the Hawaiian quarterback, who I'm not going to do him the disservice of butchering his name one last final time. He's not coming on his official visit this upcoming weekend, and that pretty much etches in stone. He's either going to Oregon or Cal, and Georgia's really out of the running there. I thought at one point it could potentially be Kamario Taylor, who's committed to Mississippi State. His brother gets offered by Mississippi State. They do a savvy job of getting him back on campus, and it looks as though they're going to hold that one down. They've offered a couple of other guys, but the most recent offer was to Boise State commit Hezekiah Millender. The amazing part about him, I would say, is that he is in Georgia's backyard. He goes to Clark Central High School. I mean, I went over there today, and it's 5 minutes from my house to go see him. I mean, it is right in Georgia's backyard. I think I did the Google Maps. It's a 23-minute walk from Butts-Mehre to the Clark Central football field. So if Kirby Smart and Mike Bobo wanted to, during the year, if they wanted to have made just a little afternoon stroll, they could have made it real easy. But the funny thing about it is, I think that this was something that he camped with Georgia in the summer or in the spring. I'm not 100% sure on the timeline. And he, threw for Mike Bobo, as many quarterbacks have, and they maintained that relationship. But it really wasn't until after his senior year ended. He ended up, and I got some stats wrong in one of my notebooks that I put in earlier, so I wanted to correct the record here, and I have in a subsequent article as well. He threw for 25 touchdowns, rushed for another 12 touchdowns, and only had one interception this season. That excludes his last game of the year against Houston County. They lost that game 69-48, which I want to see the film on that one because I imagine that was probably a ridiculous game to watch. But I haven't talked with him about that today. He was like, yeah, I did some stupid stuff in that one. So I think he might have had a pick or two in that game that might have inflated some of the turnover stats. And he was the one that told me about that. So you can sense the humility from him there. He gets that offer last night after having visited over the weekend. Georgia really wants this second quarterback, and so it's hard not to view him as the clear front-running option right now. Having just been over there earlier today and talking with him, like, he is saying all the right things as it pertains to his Boise State commitment, and I totally respect that. The Georgia offer is so fresh, and he's had this long-standing relationship with Boise State for such an extended period of time. I'm sure that he wants to have some conversations with them and with Georgia before he does anything, so I don't, right now he's saying he's locked into Boise State. It's hard to think that a Georgia offer this late in the process. I mean, again, this is a guy who moved from Arizona to Georgia to play in high classification football because he wanted to increase the exposure. He's a very confident guy. You talk to some of his coaches and trainers and the people that work with him. I mean, he has a very capable deep ball. I know that he's going to get the dual threat tag, and I think that it's a fair tag if you're using it the right way. Like, I don't think that this is a guy that you're expecting to go, chunk off 70-yard touchdown runs, but I think that he moves the pocket in a way. I mean, he talked about it with me today. Like, he thinks his strength is his ability to manipulate the pocket and make throws down the field. That's when I watch his film where I see him shining as well. He has a very accurate deep ball. He's very confident, composed when he's throwing the football. He's a point guard, naturally playing basketball. He was very humble today, right up until I started talking to him about his basketball game, and that's when he said, "Oh, I'm a for real hooper now." So but you can see that it flashes when you watch his film. He's a guy that distributes the ball like a point guard. I think that you see that show up, and he's someone that makes a lot of sense for me as Georgia's second quarterback if that ends up happening.